Welcome back to the Big Four. Box Office Maniacs, the Big Four. Yes, we're back once more with a huge, big, humongous, incredibly wide-angled, big, huge, big, freaking gigantic, enormous, big, huge movie blockbuster thing.
Yeah, another $200 million explosion robot monster extravaganza.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
All right, you know I'm a huge fan of Del Toro. What's this guy's name?
Guillermo del Toro?
Is that how you say it, Del Toro?
I think it's Guillermo. Guillermo?
I don't know, but I'm a huge fan of his. I don't know how you say his name. Del Toro.
Guillermo?
And, you know, he made Hellboy, which was
Guillermo.
Instant classic. And he made Pan's Labyrinth. What?
I was saying, and with that, I'm turning Spanish.
He also made Pan's Labyrinth, which is another amazing, amazing movie. So this guy really knows how to do special effects for a movie. He knows how to make a great movie around special effects. Sort of like Peter Jackson.
Yeah, just like Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
I'm talking about all the movies he's directed.
Hellboy.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. And Pan's Labyrinth.
And then Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. But he didn't direct it.
He didn't direct that, and he didn't direct Mama.
Mama. Yes, Mama.
Mama.
Guillermo?
He didn't do Mama either. He just produced. He produces a lot of movies.
Guillermo.
So when he actually directs a movie, I get excited about it.
Mama.
So when I went to go see Pacific Rim...
Just because the apocalypse is here doesn't mean you can't look and feel your best. Pacific Rim.
Guillermo?
I mean, how can you not get excited about a movie with gigantic lizards coming out of the ocean and gigantic robots to fight them? I mean, what is there not to get excited about here?
It is pretty cool.
I know, right?
Mama.
Huge. Big stuff.
Exactly.
I was super excited for it. I couldn't wait to see this come out. And I have no idea what any of it was about. I heard it was from a video game. I heard it was from a comic book. I have no idea if it was from any of that or not. All I knew was there was just great big robots, great big monsters, and it looked really intense and awesome, and I couldn't wait to see it.
So I got to say, Vince, on these commercials, they just come up and it says epic. It says masterpiece. It says, you know, best film of the summer. You know, blockbuster. Huge hit.
Do you have a visual? Over.
I'm going to tell you right now, I'm just going to throw it out here on the table, Vince. I'm just going to let it all go right now.
Drop it like it's hot, Dave.
Here it comes. You ready?
Drop it like it's hot.
It's going to be hot. You ready?
Drop it.
Actually, this movie left me cold, Vince.
Oh my God.
I can't believe you said that.
I said it. I told you I was dropping it. It dropped.
You dropped it like it was cold.
It was just, I don't know what I was expecting here. I was expecting big robots versus big monsters, and I got about 20 minutes of that in the movie, and about 2.5 hours of boring talking.
You know, this is why it surprises me that you said that. I expected you to actually go, man, this was the greatest thing I ever saw because it had great big monsters and robots. And I didn't expect you to say the same thing that I was thinking.
Well, I think the big problem is this. The beginning of the movie was really interesting. It was really cool. I liked how they started it, and they showed the origin of the, what are those things called? I can't even remember the name of them.
I think it's Guillermo. Guillermo?
No, the monsters.
Mama.
I can't think of it. They're an actual, it's an actual name, a Japanese name for monster.
Kinjai? Kinjid?
That word, kaiju, means monster in Japanese.
Mama. Let's call them gigantic lizards. The beginning of the movie was really cool. I liked how they showed the origin of the big robots and how they created them, and you know how the big monster came up out of the ocean and how they killed it, and all that was really interesting.
Like you said, it starts out really good. It starts out really interesting, and all the way up till they show, which they did like Friday the 13th in this film, and they got 20 minutes into the movie, and then all of a sudden it says
Pacific Rim.
That's true. You're like, wait a minute, that was the title sequence? Holy crap.
Once that happens, though, from that point to about 20, 30, 40 minutes into the film, it's nothing but this story and who's going to drive the robot and who's going to is this person qualified to do it, and it gets into this training sequence, and it's not that it's necessarily all bad because they're developing the story, but it's just you just sit there going, okay, well, when are we going to kick some monster butt?
And the thing is, these characters in the movie weren't all that interesting. They were kind of like cardboard cutouts of people. They didn't really ever feel like real people in the movie. They just felt like cliched characters that you've seen 100 times in other movies.
I walked away from this film going, man, that was a great character, or man, I really liked when this happened. I walked out of the movie theater going, it was all right.
It's exactly what I said. And it's like there's this Japanese woman in there, and she has this secret background thing that happens to her. And they play it with it through the whole movie. And then when you find out about it, you're like, huh? That's it?
Yeah, you're kind of like, big deal.
Yeah, I know. It's like, okay, that wasn't too spectacular now, was it?
I think this movie really suffered from seeing all these trailers with all this massive stuff in it and all this big epic things, and then when you went and saw it there's like you said, there's like maybe 10 to 20 minutes of that, and the rest of it's all this filler of bullcrap.
And the other thing that made me angry about the film is it has incredible CG. I mean, the CG stuff they have in the movie is amazing looking, but they cover it up with rain. I mean, it's like, it's so dark, and most of it's out in the ocean, and you can't even see the big robots fighting the monsters because they seem like they're, trying to hide it with other effects to where you can't even see what's happening. And it's like, if they're going to spend $200 million on a movie, show it on the screen. Don't cover it up with rain and fog and crap.
But they also covered, when they go into the city, they covered it with all the buildings they were destroying.
There was nothing, they didn't bring nothing new that I haven't seen before.
It was like I was watching a video game.
One thing my wife pointed out here was you have this huge, impressive, cool-looking robot, and they never really tell you how they control the thing. I mean, they do a mind meld thing and stuff, but it would have been much more cool if you understood how these people control these machines.
You're right. I mean, they don't really go into detail. They just kind of gloss over it. They say, here's all this high-tech crap. but we're not going to explain any of it to you.
And also, those doctors in the movie were just terrible. I mean, they were supposed to be like the comic relief, but they were just annoying as all. It's just horrible characters.
You hit the nail on the head, Dave. I mean, I was like, oh, can one of these monsters just crush this guy, please? You know, just crush one of these doctors, just get them out of the way, or at least both of them.
There's nothing funny about those guys.
The creatures supposedly are constructing this big war. You know, and all they show is like a membrane, and like they show a couple of the creatures like almost like they're taking an order from something, but you don't know what it is because they didn't show all of it.
It's exactly what I was going to say, is like, maybe I didn't catch that, but they never really said what they saw, and I never really understood what they were doing or why they were going down there to do what, because they don't ever explain it. And what I don't understand is everyone the reviews I read from it and everyone that has talked about it thinks this movie is the greatest thing ever. They think it's outstanding. They think it's amazing. They think it's the best movie they've seen all summer.
2,500 tons of awesome.
And it's the greatest thing ever. And I'm like, are we seeing the same movie here? And it was very mediocre, especially for a big summer blockbuster. And the amount of money they spent on this, $200 million, and it never even broke the #1 slot at the box office. It came in like 3rd place the week it came out, and now it's slipped like 6th or 7th place. So just a massive amount of money they're losing on this movie.
And it like you said, it's mediocre. It's like I was getting at, it's not altogether a bad film. I mean, it's got its good points.
I think it's absolutely so far the biggest disappointment I've seen all summer.
Yeah, I would have to say that too. You know, I was expecting to go in there and just be blown away, and it just didn't do it.
Today we are canceling the apocalypse!
All right, so let's bring up our Maniac meter, Vince, and is that what it's called?
The Maniac meter? I think it's Guillermo. Guillermo?
I think it's called the Maniac meter.
Kinjid? I can't remember what we call our rating system anymore.
Well, let's bring up our rating system and see what we're going to give it.
Well, like I said, mediocre film. I was expecting a lot from it, hoping to get a lot from it, didn't get enough from it, so I can only give Pacific Rim a 3 out of 5.
And I came out of there saying exactly the same thing. It's like, it was all right. I mean, I wasn't all that impressed with it, but I mean, yeah, you did get to see monsters beating up robots, so there's that going for it. When it did happen, but character development was terrible. I thought the acting was just mediocre at the best. Story was just bland. I mean, so yeah, I would have to give this a 3 out of 5 as well. Pretty big disappointment for a big blockbuster summer film.
Yes, it was. And I know the kids are probably going to, I mean, you're going to take your kids to this, and the kids are going to look at this and go, man, that was fantastic, it's great, and blah, blah, blah. The kids are going to be excited about this. But if you were really hoping for a gigantic sci-fi blockbuster robot monster movie, it's just, go see Godzilla.
There had to be one bad film. Not every movie this summer could have been spectacular. And unfortunately, this was one of them.
Guillermo? Kinjid?
Of Del Toro, what's this guy's name?
Guillermo.
Mama.
Guillermo?
Is that how you say it, Del Toro?
Mama, the Jaegers.
2,500 tons of awesome.